Hey guys, welcome back to Degobabe, and this week I want to talk to you about Star Wars holidays to Ireland, and one location in particular, Ceann Sibeil. So, I think many of you this time of year might be planning your holidays around the world or your vacation, and you might be thinking about visiting places where Star Wars was shot, whether that's the original trilogies, maybe you're thinking about going to Tunisia, or maybe you're thinking about The Force Awakens, so you'd like to see Skellig Michael here in Ireland, or you're thinking about The Last Jedi. Well, you do have some options there. You have maybe to go and visit the salt flats of Bolivia, which is where Crate was filmed, or maybe you'd like to see the city of Dubrovnik in Croatia, where Canto Bight was shot, or you can come to the most ultimate one of them all. You can come here to my amazing country, Ireland, and come and see The Last Jedi locations for Octo here in Ireland. And I have to say, I'm hoping to bring you more videos about all of them over the coming months, but for now I want to talk to you about one in particular called Ceann Sibeil, which is Irish for the head Sibyl, or headland of Sibyl, which is located down in County Kerry, in the same county where Skellig Michael is, which was featured at the very end of The Force Awakens, which of course is Act 2 or Octo, I suppose Act 2, where Luke Skywalker was in exile. Now, some of you may already know, but some of you may not, that during the shoot of The Last Jedi, some of the scenes were shot back on Skellig Michael, but unfortunately the island wasn't suitable for what they wanted to do further with the movie, so they built a replica monastic village. Very well, maybe not replica, because it's not identical to the one that's on Skellig Michael. It's first of all, it's a lot bigger, the one that's in The Last Jedi, but they built that on the headland at Ceann Sibeil, just outside of a very small little village called Ballyferriter. So here's the picture here, and you can see the set at the top of the headland, and of course that's one of my own photographs because I went down there to see it all being done. Of course now the set is actually gone, it's not there anymore, but as we all know, when we looked at The Last Jedi, it wasn't just the set we saw on Ceann Sibeil. In fact, we saw the surrounding scenery just off that headland, and now the people of Ballyferriter are delighted to be able to welcome people to Ireland to come and see that headland if they want that Star Wars experience. So right before Christmas in early December, a number of us, press and YouTubers and podcasters and everything, were brought down to Ballyferriter to a whole event called Féile Star Wars, which is a festival of Star Wars, to see the area and to enjoy it for ourselves. And I have to say, I had so much fun, and I absolutely highly recommend it to all of you out there who are thinking about coming here. First of all, we went to see The Last Jedi with the people from Ballyferriter on the Friday, which was the 15th. I'd already seen the movie the night before, but I was really looking forward to it this time, because this time I was going to get to see all the people of Ballyferriter and in the surrounding areas in Kerry get to react to it. And it went down very well with them. They really loved it, and I have to say, I felt proud seeing the scenery of my own country in the movie. I can't imagine how it must have felt for them to be seeing their own district, their own private personal home on the silver screen, and in Star Wars of all things. Absolutely awesome. So they had arranged a whole load of activities that weekend to introduce the area, and unfortunately I couldn't stay for all of it, but I was able to stay for two events after the movie, and that was to go on a guided walk up to Ceann Sibeil, and the second was to go and do porg pottery. So firstly I'll talk about going up the headland. Porg pottery, so cool. The weather was extreme, was quite harsh. You know, being December in Ireland, we're lucky we don't get the most harsh winters in the world, so you can travel here all year round. You'll still be able to get around everywhere. If we do get things like snow, it normally only lasts maybe a couple of days and then it's gone. So we went with a lovely lady named Breege Granville, who lives in Ballyferriter. She has a very old, beautiful kind of Georgian style hotel there, and I'm not sure if the hotel's still in operation. I think it is, but it's kind of kept sort of I don't know how to describe it. It's like it's a family type thing, and it's really, really lovely building that she lives in. And so Breach took myself and a number of the members of the Emerald Garrison, which of course I am a member of as well, but I still don't feel like I am. And we all went up the headland to see Ceann Sibeil and to see Act 2. Basically, the set of course is gone, it's not there anymore, and it's all grown back in. The ground is still kind of yellow where the buildings were, so that was kind of cool. It seems so silly, it's just yellow ground, but for a Star Wars fan it's very exciting. And we headed up that headland in rain and wind the whole way up. Now, if you do plan to come here, I warn you, make sure you're wearing, if you want to tackle that headland, make sure you're wearing the correct clothing and the right kind of shoes. I was not, and it was tough walking up that hill. It looks easy when you look up at it, it looks like it's a lovely grassy nice little walk up, but it is quite strenuous. It's very, very steep, so I do advise that you make sure you've got the correct gear for hiking up the hillside, and fitness definitely is a plus going up that hillside, but I have to say it was well worth the trek up the side of the headland, because when we got to the top you just suddenly were kind of transported from Ireland to Act 2, because you looked around you and you could see everything that was in the film. So you could see this really rocky, harsh terrain, the islands in the distance, and I'll be showing you the pictures here as I'm talking. There is an island just off the headland. Don't get excited, it's not Skellig Michael. Even I made that mistake, and I'm Irish, how bad is that? Skellig Michael is much further down the coast, but on a clear day you can actually see it, and luckily if you're coming in warmer months, say early spring or late summer, which are the best times to come, it's off peak, it's not as crazy, and you'll find it much easier to go up there. They're probably the best times to come. You will be able to see it way off in the distance. It's very, very tiny, but you can see it. But the island that's closer, unfortunately I don't know the name of it, is very similar in shape. And I do believe that this is the island that's featured in the concept drawing on the cover of the book, The Art of the Last Jedi, which is right here. Do you see that island just out beyond Rey? At first when I looked at it I thought that was Skellig Michael, but it's similar. But then when I actually saw this other island at Ceann Sibeil, I realised I think this is actually a drawing, a concept drawing taken from the headland at Ceann Sibeil, because the two islands, if you look here, are extremely similar, if not identical. Yes, there are extra things drawn in, but we already know that from watching The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens, that they did alter some of the scenery, but not an awful lot compared to Canto Bight and Dubrovnik, which is quite heavily CGI'd, and then in Crate it's just the salt flats. But here in Ireland they actually didn't have to do an awful lot to make it look the way it did in the movie, because it really does look like that. It is beautiful. It is such a stunning, stunning place to go to, and I really can't express enough how much you should go there if you're coming here for a Star Wars holiday. What you could do is take in the Wild Atlantic Way, which is a whole tourist route from kind of like Route 66, but much nicer, from the very north, Donegal, the whole way down to the south, along the west coast, and all along the Atlantic, obviously the Wild Atlantic Way. So you could start at Mallinhead in Donegal, which was also a location for The Last Jedi. It was where Rey is standing under the Millennium Falcon feeling the rain, and then she has that force connection with Kylo Ren while she's there. That was done in Mallinhead. But then you could come right down along the coastline the whole way down to County Clare. You could go to Loophead. Loophead is the other location. It's that section in The Last Jedi where she sees that hole in the rocks on the platform, and it's like a hole of seaweed and she gets sucked down through it. The hole naturally is not there, but the platforms are real. They really are there, and you can go see those at Loophead. Then you can work your way on down to County Kerry, and you can come just outside of Dingletown, and that's where you'll hit Ballyferreter, a gorgeous little village, and an Irish speaking village as well. But I guarantee you, don't worry if you don't speak Irish, they speak English too, and they're very happy to speak English to you when you get there. So if you're going up the headland, don't forget to stop off and get yourself some water. You're going to need it going up this headland. You are going to need the water. So stop off at the little local shop in Ballyferreter, and I'll tell you why. Oh, I just realised I forgot to bring them in here. Hold on one moment. So guys, I just looked for them, I can't find them, but there's a photograph right here because I took this picture right after I got them when I got home. These are all little postcards and things that are in the local shop in Ballyferriter that say everything about Ceann Sibeil and show the area on the postcards. And these are awesome because you can have these as a little souvenir to prove that you really did go and see the Last Jedi location for Octu in Ceann Sibeil and County Kerry. So definitely check in there, get your water there, wait and get your water there so that you can get that. They've got other Star Wars little bits and pieces as well that you can pick up, and then get yourself up the headland. And you know what, when you get to the top, you're going to be thanking me that you did it, because you're just not going to be able to believe what you're looking out at. It's an incredible scenery, and that sunset at the end of The Last Jedi with Luke floating above the rock looking out, and then he, just before he dies, oh god, just before he dies, and he looks out and there's a double sun. Well, part of that is actually real. That is the real sunset over Ceann Sibeil. In the west of Ireland here, we get the most incredible sunsets, and I'll show you some of my photographs here. These were not taken at Ceann Sibeil, they were taken further north up along the Atlantic coast, but you can see that we get the most fiery, beautiful sunsets. So that sunset was real, and of course the second sun was CGI'd in, but the very first one, which I'm going to try and put the picture here, which is lower down, that's the actual sunset from the headland at Ceann Sibeil, which Rian Johnson actually talked about when he was being interviewed. He said that was one of his most memorable, most beautiful moments here in Ireland, was watching the sunset. So I really suggest you get up there and you sit there and you watch that sun go down, but try and get yourself back down before it's completely set, or you'll be coming back down in the dark, and you don't want to be doing that because there is quite a few dangerous rocks and drops that go straight into the Atlantic Ocean. But it's well worth it. And then take a trip along the back of the headland. Don't come straight down the hill, take a trip across the back, and you'll see the Three Sisters, which are pictured here, which are three kind of headlands coming out. And again, you can see the most spectacular scenery, and then make your way back down. You'll have to designate your whole day to do this, because it actually takes quite a long time to, maybe not as long getting up there, but if you wanted to do that full walk coming back, it does take quite a long time to get the whole way back down, but it's worth it for what you're going to see, what you're going to experience, what you're going to feel when you're up there. It's beautiful. The thing I can say about Kerry that I can't really say about the rest of Ireland. The rest of Ireland's very Irish, really Irish, but Kerry is the Lord of the Rings. Kerry is Star Wars. Kerry is fantasy. It's legend, and it's like completely enchanting and magical and mystical and spiritual. And I can understand why they used it for Octu, because Jedis themselves are quite spiritual people, and so this location just kind of reflects that all around them. And it's an incredible county to visit, especially along these coastal parts in Kerry, from the whole way from Ballyferriter and Ceann Sibeil, the whole way down to a little place called Derrynan, which I adore. And of course, if you take that route, you'll come to Portmagee, which is the local village not far from Skellig Michael. There's ferries going from there, and then of course there's Ballinskelligs as well down further, which is another village that also has ferries operating to Skellig Michael. But I do recommend Ceann Sibeil. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing place to go. When you get yourself back down, I'm thinking you're going to be a little hungry and you're going to want to eat something. So when you come back down off the headland, you head right out of Ballyferriter, not back towards Dingle, head right, and go straight out the road, and you will come to this gorgeous pottery centre and shop and cafe called the Louis Mulcahy Pottery, I think it's Pottery Centre, and we all went there and we had the best fun ever, because they bring you into the pottery workshop and you get to make porgs. So you get to make these little pottery porgs, and everybody had so much fun making them, and it was so funny because everybody had such a different way of making those porgs. It was really cute and fun, and we really enjoyed it. And I got talking to the two ladies that were there, and they told me their Star Wars stories about the movie being shot there, and one lady in particular who her husband and her children had been watching through a telescope, and been watching that scene with Luke sitting on the rock way over on the headland being filmed at sunset. They've got a photograph of it. They should print that off and put it on the wall there so that everybody can see it when they come in. So you've got to go there. If you want to buy pottery that's not Star Wars related, they've got beautiful pieces in this place that I really wish I could have taken with me. They had so many beautiful pieces, and when you're in the workshop it's beautiful because it looks straight out onto the Atlantic, so you've kind of got a little bit of Octu going on outside while you're making your porg. So when you're done making your porg, they will actually fire the porg for you, and then they will glaze it, paint it and glaze it, and you can wait. If you're staying around for a while, you can pick it up before you leave, or they will send it on to you. Now, I haven't got my porg yet because I actually completely forgot about my porg, so I need to check and find out if it was sent here to Dublin, which I'm not actually in Dublin, but if it was sent to Dublin, and I'll go and pick it up, and when I do, I'll show it in my next video, I promise. But then you can go up to the top floor of this centre, and they've got a really nice cafe, and the food is divine. I really enjoyed it, and I'm vegetarian / vegan, and they were fantastic. They had food that was suitable for me and suitable for everyone. You can also pick up Skellig's chocolate when you're up there, so I really do recommend that as well because it's divine. It's unusual flavours, but very delicious. So I guess that's it. So I've put together some video of my time down there. I'm going to show that to you now, guys, and I hope you enjoy it, and I hope that you'll come to Ireland and check out these beautiful locations where Star Wars was filmed. And even if you're coming with someone who's not into Star Wars, I guarantee you they're going to love Ballyferriter. They're going to love that area. It's absolutely steeped in history. Ballyferriter itself is named after a famous poet called Pierce Ferriter, who was around in the 1600s. He was one of the last Irish chieftains, and sadly he was hung at the hands of Oliver Cromwell, kind of back in the days when we fought with the British, but we don't do that anymore, back many centuries ago. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to tell you guys is that if you can't get to Skellig Michael, because the ferries book up a year in advance to go out there, if you can't get to Skellig Michael, there is also a monastic monument, not a monument, a monastic preserve, I suppose, reservation, I don't know what to call it, monastic. It's called Riask, just outside of Ballyferriter, near a place called Wine Strand. So you can go there and you'll get to see some of those little stone huts, because they have them there as well. They weren't just on Skellig Michael, though on Skellig Michael they are unbelievably spectacular to see. Not knocking Skellig Michael, love Skellig Michael. But if you can't get out there to see it, you will get to see some of them here and get your Star Wars photographs there. If you bring a lightsaber or whatever, bring a Jedi cloak, you'll get your Star Wars photographs there. The locals will tell you where to find it. It's not far at all from Ballyferriter, maybe a few minutes away, and you can go and see that as well while you're there. So guys, here comes my little montage of all my bits and pieces down there. I didn't get an awful lot of film of Ceann Sibeil because it was so treacherous, the weather trying to walk up, that it was quite difficult to actually take the camera out and film properly. And then one of the people who was with us is kind of afraid of heights and got a little nervous, so I wanted to stay with her. I didn't want her to be left on her own feeling nervous, and so I didn't go out to film the rest of the headland. But I am going to go back there in the spring and shoot it again, and this time I am going to be going with my other half because his channel is up and running and he'd like to do it as well, and we'll bring you a video from the headland and we'll show you everything down there. If you can't come this year, maybe we can encourage you to come in 2019. So guys, check out this video and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to hit that like button as well and the bell so that you can get notifications every time I pop a video up. Come and join me and the Force and we can rule the galaxy together. You can also check me out on Twitter and Instagram and on Facebook as well. I'm on all of those. And enjoy the video, and until next week guys, may the Force be with you. Bye! I was going to film on the way up, but I was so out of breath, there was no way. So we've just trekked up from Ballyferriter, and I'm up at the top of Ceann Sibeil, and I'm right where they filmed The Last Jedi. So I'll show you a little bit of it. I'll do a panoramic with this, and hopefully you'll get to see it. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.